Hello, welcome to TisTalk.
Welcome to TisTalk. This is a podcast coming from Tisbury, Wiltshire and surrounding villages. I'm Julianne Murphy.
And I'm Mary Myers.
This is the week beginning Monday, 10th of January. Okay, hello, Mary.
Hello, Julianne. I'm here and I'm talking to you all the way from France.
Yeah, now tell us about that, Mary. Where are you?
Okay, well, I'm in the southwest corner in a place called Pau, spelt P-A-U. And it's not far from, people might have heard of Biarritz. It's just near the Pyrenees. And it's got rather a nice climate. So that's why I'm here, to escape the English weather.
You also mentioned to me, if I was going to go and visit, that I'd fly into Lourdes. So you're not far from Lourdes either.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Am I pronouncing that properly, Mary?
Well, it's supposed to not have an S on the end, so locals say Lourdes. Yes.
Lourdes. Okay. All right. So I'm sure lots of people have heard of that.
Yes, that's true. And some people might have been on pilgrimages there.
Yeah.
And another point of reference is that the Duke of Wellington thought that Pau was a great place. And sort of at the end of the 19th century, there were a lot of villas, beautiful fin de siècle kind of buildings, all built by English people. And there was a hunt here and all sorts of English goings on. It's full of old buildings. It's got a lovely chateau. There was a famous king from the French point of view, Henri IV, Henry IV, in the 16th century. He was born here and he united France. He started off as a Protestant and he became a Catholic to sort of unite France. So everybody in France kind of knows about him. He's called le bon roi Henri, the good King Henry. We went in a nice Airbnb and we're spending as much time as possible outside and doing skiing when we can up in the Pyrenees and walking and discovering the city. Well, it's not really a city, it's a large town. And just doing our work from here really. And enjoying things.
Very nice. Anyway, we were going to talk about the community appeal.
Yeah, so the Carnival has made an urgent appeal for volunteers and support for the Carnival 2025. So I thought I might just read that out just quickly because it would be really great if more people got involved because the Carnival was so good last year, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was such good fun.
Yeah. So this is an appeal from the Carnival Committee. Dear Tisbury community, an urgent appeal for volunteers and support for Carnival 2025 and the need for new committee members. We hope this letter finds you well. Over the years, our Carnival has become a much anticipated event, fostering community spirit, joy and togetherness. It not only provides a day of fun and entertainment for families, but also plays a vital role in raising awareness and funds for essential services that benefit many in our neighbourhood. We are very grateful for the support and volunteers who came forward last year, but we were still all very stretched on Carnival Day and simply did not have enough volunteers. We find ourselves at a crucial juncture that may jeopardise its future, and regrettably, unless we receive significant community support, we will be unable to organise the Carnival this year. We urge you to attend our emergency general meeting on Thursday, February the 6th, 2025 at 7:30pm at the Victoria Hall, where we will discuss the success of this appeal and the ultimate fate of the Carnival. We also plan to award the engraved cups to the winners from 2024. The bar will be open. With warm regards and hopeful hearts, Tisbury Carnival Committee, Annette Blackman, David Milas, Fortunata Pagliano, Hannah Good, Jane Bacon, Jerry Mason, John Rees, Lydia Morell, Lynn C., Rob Blackman and Steve McGrath. So let's hope that they get more volunteers this year because it really is worth it.
Yeah, and I think they're really needed, aren't they?
Yeah.
If the carnival's going to continue in the same way.
Yeah.
So, Mary, what have we got on the programme this week?
Okay, well, it's quite exciting. We've got this new series, we've got this new season, and we're starting with Pickleball, which you've been doing, and actually I had a go at last term, and it's a fun new game.
Yeah, excellent.
And then we've got Steve Tonkin talking about the night sky in January. And after that, we've got Dr. Kinlin, Lindsay Kinlin from Fovant Surgery with a new series. And she's talking about being tired all the time, which I think might be quite relevant for people in January.
Post-Christmas.
Yeah. And then we've got the What's Ons.
Okay. We start with Mary at the Nadder Centre, finding out all about pickleball, one of the fastest growing sports in the world.
So I'm at the Nadder Centre with Gary Kemp. So Gary what's your title, Gary?
I'm a Pickleball England Level 1 pickleball coach.
Right.
And pickleball is a great game. It's a combination of badminton and tennis. So we play on a badminton-sized court. We lower the net to the same size as a tennis net, and we play with a same size sort of tennis ball, but it's called an air ball, so it's got holes in it. So obviously it's not going as hard and as fast as a tennis ball. Then we play with these, not a racket, we call it a paddle, but it's like a table tennis, just slightly bigger than a table tennis paddle, and that's how we play the game. It's a good fun game.
And is it a popular thing in Tisbury these days?
Wow, it's grown and grown and grown. I've been doing pickleball for the last year in Salisbury, and we have 100 players in Salisbury. And obviously the centre here is run by Wiltshire County Council. They were very keen to what we've done at Salisbury, and they wanted to introduce it in Tisbury. So we started about 10 weeks ago. We had 2 or 3 people turn up. Now we have over 27 players that are now looking to play on a regular basis here. So it's great. So it's really an engaging game. It's a game that's collected in numbers week by week by week. I seem to get 2 or 3 new players every week. So it's growing.
Okay. And do you have to be very fit and healthy and young to play it?
No, not really. We've got Jerick who's joining us today. He's 85 years of age. He's got a frozen shoulder, and we've got Vincent who's got a knee problem. But no, it's great because we play on a badminton-sized court and we normally play doubles. The area that you've got to cover yourself is very small, so it's easy for everybody to get around. And because it's an air ball, it's not such fast, so people can find they can move around the court pretty comfortably without having to be fit as a fiddle, really. You can just come on down and play.
Great. And how much does it cost for a session?
I think the cost here at the Nadder Centre is around about
£4.90 if you're a member.
£4.90 if you're a member, and if you're not a member, I think it's probably about £5.50. But that's for 2 hours. That's for 2 hours. But so value for money, it's excellent, really.
Okay.
I provide all the equipment. I have all the paddles for people to come and try. I have the balls as well. The centre have provided the nets. So it's just a case of coming on down and giving it a go.
Okay, so it's Thursdays, and then in the new year, the time is...
Yes, so it's every Thursday, and in the new year, we're changing our time to 11 till 1 of January. So a great time to sort of New Year's resolutions. We've all going to eat too much Christmas dinners and pies. So a great chance to come down, get yourself a little bit fit. And great time to really have something to look forward to for the rest of the year. So love you to come on down and give it a go. My name is Gary, and I welcome you with open arms, and come and give the game a go.
I'm here also with Margaret Thomas, who is a regular player of pickleball. So Margaret, what do you get out of it?
Oh, it's great fun. I do keep fairly fit, although, again, there are all levels of fitness playing the game. But I like the competitiveness. It's fun. I've met a lot of new people who come along from a lot of the villages around here, and some who come out from Salisbury because their courts are overbooked, and ours are fully booked every week. But it's just generally fun.
Right.
I used to be a tennis player, haven't played for about 10 years, and I had a shoulder problem, but this is much more suitable for me, as a lot of it's underarm playing. It's a challenge.
Right. And do you always play doubles?
I have only played doubles, yes. More than happy to play singles, although I don't know the rules for that. There are different rules, so it's quite a lot of things to learn when you first come. But it's not
Yes,
difficult.
I must say I had a go last week, and I still haven't. It'll take me a long time before I get the hang of the rules.
Yeah.
But it is very, very accessible. Otherwise, I mean,
Oh, yes,
it's quite easy to pick up.
Yes. And yes, because Gary didn't mention that the European Championships were held down in Southampton about a month ago.
Oh, really?
Did
you go to that?
No, unfortunately I couldn't go. But if I know anything like big is on again, I will definitely go to it. Watch the players playing.
It's a bit of a sort of our area phenomenon.
Well, it has been. Yes, it's amazing.
But it came from the States in the first place.
I believe so. Yes. But people are playing at all levels. You don't have to be a top flight player to play it. It's just very enjoyable.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Follow us on Instagram at TisTalk Radio.
Next, we're delighted to welcome back our astronomer Steve Tonkin with another look at the night sky in January and what to look for.
So the red planet is sort of almost dominates the sky at the moment. It's very, very bright right now. It's actually going to look brighter than Jupiter, which we saw last month. Jupiter's still there. Mars at the moment has just got brighter than Jupiter. It's distinctly red. You can understand why the ancients almost all associated it with the god of war. So it was Ares in Greek, Mars for the Romans, and so on.
And say if you were standing at the Nadder Centre, where would Mars be in relation to, say, the entrance?
If you were standing at the entrance, Mars would be on your right.
Okay.
But fairly high up in the sky if you're out sort of mid-evening or so.
Okay.
It's so red, you really can't miss it. It's obvious.
Right.
But if we look at another part of the sky now, once we've enjoyed Mars, say if you do have a telescope, have a look. You might even be able to spot that it's got white polar cap on it, which is not water ice. It's a mixture of water ice and dry ice, carbon dioxide ice.
I see. So Mars is, although it looks hot, it's freezing cold.
About minus 30 degrees Celsius.
Oh,
no, it's okay. Decent Canadian coat on, you'll be fine.
Okay.
Yeah. But no, we're going to concentrate a bit on the northern sky this month. We can look at the Plough or the Big Dipper or the Saucepan, which is 7 stars. If you're looking north, which is approximately straight out from the Nadder Centre entrance, see it in the sky there. It's like handle down, bowl up of either a big saucepan or a spoon. Or historically, it was also a wagon. What we think of as a handle was where you tethered harnessed the animals that were pulling it. Same for when it's the plough, actually.
The shafts.
The shafts, yeah. And so, we've known this for an enormous long time. The Homer wrote that if from Greece you want to get to the Pillars of Heracles, which is what he called Straits of Gibraltar, you keep the wagon on your right, which of course would make perfect sense. You want to go west, you keep north on your right. So stars have always been used for navigation. And it's part of a much bigger constellation, which is called the Greater Bear, the Big Bear. And what we're looking at with the Plough, or the Big Dipper, is just its rump and its tail. And so you might ask, well, why has a bear got a tail so long? And in North American mythology, for example, we were hunting the bear, and the bear went to the great god Manitou and asked, can you save me from these horrible people who are trying to kill us? And he took them bears who had a tail, swung them around, hence their tails got long, and put them in the sky to keep them safe from us. So, that's why the bears have long tails.
I see.
But the other end of this little group of stars, which is called an asterism, which is just a recognizable group of brightish stars, are what are called the pointers. And we're calling them pointers because they point to Polaris, which is the North Star. And so Polaris will be on the left of them. So if you put your right hand out in front of you, put your little finger on the left-hand pointer, spread your hand out into a handspan, and your thumb will be very, very near the pole star. And that's a star that will appear to the naked eye not to move all night. All the other stars appear to go round it.
Why is it fixed?
Well, it's not really fixed, but Earth's axis of rotation at the moment points almost exactly to it. So it appears not to move while everything else appears to go round it.
I see.
So yeah. But
Right.
it's
Very handy.
very handy because it's always above the north point on the horizon. So it gives you one of the three things you need to know for navigation. And
What are the other two?
Well, you need to know where you're going. And
Right.
another lesson in life, you also need to know where you are. So without those three things, you know where you are, where you're going, and which direction are the things you have to know. Yeah. Almost the same for everything, actually. But we can carry on a little bit further, and only about half that distance further on. It's not such a bright star, and it's called Erai. It's in the constellation of Cepheus or Cepheus, depending on how you pronounce your Latin. And he was the husband of Cassiopeia, who we met last month. So he was Andromeda's father. And the constellation of Cepheus looks like a house, a child's drawing of a house, going down to the left. And just below the bottom of the wall, use binoculars, there's a really gorgeous star, almost rivals Mars in its colour, for which reason it's sometimes known as the Garnet Star. And you could get other stars in the same field of view, and they look white in comparison.
So why are stars sometimes different colours, like white or yellow or red? No, I suppose Mars is red because it's a planet. But
Mars, yeah.
Yeah, but the white and yellow stars?
Stars are different colours because of their temperature. So if you heat a piece of metal, the first thing it does is go red hot. Heat it more, it'll go orange hot, yellow hot, white hot. If you could heat it more without it vaporizing, you'd eventually get to blue hot. So
I see.
So the colour of a star is an indication of its temperature.
And of course, stars are suns.
Stars are suns, and the
Yes.
Garnet Star is a star called a red giant. Red, obviously, you look at it and you see why it's called red, and giant because it's absolutely huge. If it was where the sun was, we'd be inside it. So it's a really massive star.
Right. Sorry, just a really obvious question, Steve.
No.
If all the stars we can see are suns,
Yeah.
where are their planets? I suppose we can't see them.
We can't with our kit, but with professional kit, some planets around other stars have been imaged and can be seen. But we can infer their presence from in other ways. Sometimes they will cross in front of the star, so its light will dim ever so ever so slightly.
Yeah.
And it seems that almost all stars have planets.
Right,
Which
like our
yeah,
solar system.
Yeah, so these are just distant suns, as what the 16th century Giordano Bruno said. The stars are just distant suns, and they are there for that reason. So anyway, enjoy that part of the sky, and just look out for the Big Dipper every night, and you'll see how it changes its position throughout the year.
And that was the wonderful Steve Tonkin, Dark Sky Advisor at the Cranbourne Chase International Dark Sky Reserve.
Now, a new contributor to TisTalk, Dr. Lindsay Kinlin from Fovant Surgery. She'll be talking about the most common ailments people visit her surgery complaining of. This week, tiredness.
I'm with Dr. Lindsay Kinlin from Fovant Surgery, and this is the beginning of a new series on TisTalk. Thank you very much, Lindsay, for coming in.
Pleasure.
We're going to be talking about common symptoms that many people come to your surgery to ask you about.
Yeah.
And the aim of this is to help people feel it's okay to come in and to present certain symptoms to you and what to expect when they do ask you.
Yeah.
So today, you've told me that a lot of people come in and say that they're tired all the time.
Yeah.
What is the cause of being tired all the time?
Yes, so it's one of the more difficult questions to answer for people. So it's a really common scenario that people will present with. So the first thing to do is to try and establish that it truly is that they're tired all the time, and not just, for example, there's a recent change in their circumstances, or there's builders outside and they can't sleep because
Okay.
So the aim of our conversation between the patient and the GP is trying to understand, is there something that needs further investigation, because there might be a disease at the root of the tiredness.
Right.
So that's the first part of it, really, is how significant an issue is the tiredness, in what ways is it impacting on your life, just to get some sense of how likely it is to be something more serious going on than just a lifestyle issue. So just a general sense of what is it in your life that might be out of kilter.
Right.
And I think all of us nowadays are living in lifestyles which are often stretched in terms of multiple obligations, this sense that we have to fill every minute of the waking day with activities and interactions with other people. Just the level of information we're all exposed to in terms of the internet and media just means we're all just probably a little bit overstimulated and might find it difficult to relax in the evenings as a result. And then because you can't relax in the evenings, the quality of your sleep isn't quite so good, and then you get your vicious cycle. One way to help us work out who needs further investigation is if someone's had symptoms for longer than 4 weeks, because the vast majority of tiredness, if it's self-limiting, would be the phrase I would use, it won't last longer than 4 weeks. So you're more likely to pick up something important if it's that duration.
Right.
So there's certain very typical points in people's lives when they're more likely to be tired. So the classic one is if you just had a baby and your nights are really disrupted. So, for example, moving house it might take a while to recover from all the disruption from that.
Would it be acceptable for someone to come in and ask for your help after something like that?
It's still worth having a conversation about. If it's longer than 4 weeks and it's actually interfering with your quality of life, it may well be some relatively straightforward explanation. On the other hand, it might be worth just investigating a bit further.
Yeah.
So you keep an open mind. It's important to just recognise that you might have factors already within health problems that might be making you tired as well. So, for example, you might be on medication where a side effect is it make you feel a bit drowsy in the morning. So, for example, some of the painkillers might do that. A lot of people might be on many different medications, and so it's to understand the interactions between the tablets might ultimately make you feel tired. Thinking about the quality of your sleep, so if you drink alcohol, for example, it will inevitably make the quality of your sleep less good. So it's going to make you tired in the morning, regardless of whether you're going to have a hangover. A big category of tiredness is sleep apnea. That's when you fall into deep sleep, the muscles in the throat relax and can often block off the airway just temporarily. So if it's a mild version of that would simply be snoring.
Right.
But if it gets more severe, you'll actually block off the airway for perhaps a couple of, it can go on for minutes at a time. So the test for sleep apnea often shows that people are never getting into that deep restorative sleep and they're just continuously waking up all night long. So they might have just a few minutes of actual sleep between each bout of waking, and then it's no wonder they're exhausted in the daytime.
Right. What are some other causes of being tired all the time?
So you would do a history and an examination, see if there's anything that comes up from that. If after that there's nothing really to give a further clue, I typically ask for a blood test where I would check for anemia, check for diabetes, check for an underactive thyroid. So that's a common presentation because it's quite a gradual change in how people feel. Might not pinpoint it to an underactive thyroid unless we check for it actively. And we check the liver, kidneys. I will also check for inflammation using a test called CRP. It's quite a crude test, but basically the CRP is normal. That's quite reassuring.
What is a CRP?
It stands for C-reactive protein. So if someone had a raised CRP, you might look down more unusual routes, for example, things like rheumatoid arthritis or other autoimmune conditions. So because the immune system is causing inflammation in particular parts of the body, the CRP goes up, and then the next step is to work out where in the body is the inflammation happening.
Right.
So you kind of cast the net wide, and if you can find something from that list, great. On the other hand, if you don't find anything from that and the history and examination aren't showing anything particularly directing you to a diagnosis, then the most likely explanation for your tiredness is something within your lifestyle. It's just a case of going back to the basics and looking at each part of your life to see is it as good as it can be. Basically, what you could expect is a structured assessment where we'll go through a series of potential explanations for your tiredness and just knocking them off one by one until either we've got to the end of that list without finding anything obvious, in which case it's a lifestyle issue, or we do find something and then we can treat it.
Great. Thanks very much, Lindsay.
TisTalk, a podcast from Tisbury on tistalk.buzzsprout.com.
And just before the What's Ons, here's a quick announcement by Nadder Community Energy from Anna Campbell.
Yes, so I just wanted to come onto the podcast briefly to tell you all about a meeting that we've got coming up this week. So Nadder Community Energy is carrying out a feasibility study into the potential for a local community energy club in Tisbury and the surrounding area. A local energy club works as a cooperative, facilitating locally generated renewable energy to be accessed by local households and small businesses at a fair price. The energy would come from a new small solar array on a local free-range chicken farm. The chickens would benefit from this, from the additional shelter that the panels provide, and the farm would benefit by getting a better price for the power that they export into the grid. Local households would benefit from accessing local renewable energy at a fair price, being able to take control of your bills and at the same time doing your bit to tackle climate change and helping to keep some money in the local economy. So at this stage, it's just a feasibility study, and a big part of that is gauging the interest from the local community in such a scheme. So we're holding a community information session at the Victoria Hall this coming Thursday evening, the 23rd, and we'd love to see lots of you there. If the club went ahead, it would be open to anyone whose property is served by the Tisbury electricity substation. So that includes the whole of Tisbury, Tucking Mill, Newtown and Hatch, Fonthill, Gifford and Bishop, the whole of Hindon and Chicklade as well, and also Wardle. So please do come down to the Victoria Hall at 7 for 7:30 on Thursday to find out more, and we hope to see lots of you there. So Nadder Community Energy is a not-for-profit community benefit society that's providing and promoting low-carbon renewable energy solutions in and around the Nadder Valley. Any surplus income that they make from electricity generation is either used for the development of new projects or spent on local community initiatives to help reduce carbon emissions or tackle fuel poverty. There's no connection to any particular energy supplier, and it's completely not-for-profit. So thank you, Mary.
So this Thursday, the 23rd of January, at the Victoria Hall at 7 for 7:30, and presumably it's all free. It's just a kind of go there, find out what's going on sort of session. Will there be?
Yes.
Will there be refreshments?
The bar will be open.
Okay. So, thank you very much, Anna.
Follow us on Instagram at TisTalk Radio.
And finally, we end with the What's Ons.
On Tuesday the 21st at 6 p.m, Tisbury Parish Council Environment Committee meeting will take place in the Reading Room on Tisbury High Street. On Wednesday, the pop-up cafe will be in the Hindon Hall from 10:30am until 12 noon, after which the free super lunch will be served until 1:30pm. Also at 1:30pm on Wednesday, the film The Duke will be showing in Victoria Hall, which is run by Tisbus Tea and Film. On Thursday the 23rd at 7:30pm, Nadder Community Energy Club will meet in the Victoria Hall for an info session. Saturday the 25th, the Tisbury Breakfast Tears meet in the Royal Oak in Swallowcliffe at 8:30am sharp. And at 9:30am on Saturday, the Tisbury Footpath Club Walk leaves from the Nadder Close car park. And that's all for this week.
That's all from us. We've been Julianne Murphy
and Mary Myers, with special thanks to Lal Poynter.
We'd love to hear from you. You can contact us on tistalkradio@gmail.com.
You can listen every week to a new episode of TisTalk, and you can find any episode you've missed at tistalk.buzzsprout.com. So do listen in next week for more stories from Tisbury. Bye-bye.
Bye.